Kareen Maloney, communication course, talking about persuasive speaking techniques. And I have with me today
Andrew Pfefferman.
excuse me.
Sal Benovich.
Pierre Guadalajara.
So one of the texts that we're using in our course talks about persuasive speaking, and it says has been defined as a reason-giving discourse. What that means is basically just trying to persuade someone from one topic or one way of thinking to another with giving them valid reasons for this. And there's some techniques that I've discovered in all the books and topics on it or papers I've come across. The 4 essential techniques are somewhat the same. One is establishing credibility, connecting emotionally with your target audience, communicating the compelling value or proposition for the audience, or the proof or the statement, and then reinforcing your position. My question to you guys now to start this off is, how important are any of these to you? Is there one that sticks out the most, or they all do? And if you can give me some examples of what that means, go right ahead.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the most important ones, at least to me, is the emotional connection with the speaker or the person persuading you. And I think without that piece, it's really hard to really fully gain traction in shifting someone's point of view to a different, well, to one that you would want them to at least entertain.
Val, you take on it?
No, I agree with you. And adding to that, I mean, if you could apply it to the recent presidential election and that emotional connection you have with the candidate, whether it's a Democratic Party or the Republican Party, that's probably the first thing that you feel, whether you like this candidate or not, whether for presidential or any other, elected office.
And for you, what stands out to you?
I think for me it's more about credibility. For me, for me to get persuaded, I need to be blown away by facts and figures and stuff like that. Like just the other day, I was going to upgrade my phone, and I got it, and he was giving me all this information about this side project that I wasn't even interested in. There's an Apple TV.
Right.
And initially I was like, yeah, I want to buy it because it all sounded so good. He gave me all these numbers, and what a great deal. Eventually, after like 10 minutes, I was like, actually, I don't want to. Like, the spell was broken, and I realized I didn't want this to begin with, so I don't need it. And I think that's just having to do with, as the audience, I think you have to have something already established, some connection with what the speaker is saying to actually believe it in the first place. So for me, I didn't have that.
You didn't have that. Okay,
That's a good example, Pierre.
Yeah, I like the fact that you touch on that, because my next question is that with the current presidential candidates that we have and the outcome, I mean, how credible were these individuals? And if so, as speakers, the outcome was what it is and who they are. I would love to get some feedback from you guys as to how you feel about that and credibility. Any talks on that?
Well, for me, credibility boiled down to what I think what was important to me, number one, and are they the type of person that can deliver? I mean, do they have the street cred to deliver what's important in terms of whether it's from an economic standpoint or from a social standpoint, whatever. For me, what resonates is economically, right? Because I feel that if we can deliver economically, then the country does better financially, and it takes care of a lot of other problems that we have. For me, that's important.
Anything, Faisal, from you? Not credibility at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue at least with this election, we use it as an example, is there's so much invalid and inaccurate information throughout the web being put on TV that was so hard to really decipher what is really credible and what's not credible.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's saying it a specific way, and they're so confident in what they're saying. You know, it's hard to decipher, and I think that's one thing we were missing this time, is just a real way of, this is the facts, A, B, and C, not what this department's putting out this one, and it's.
I think I like what you said about the phone being an example, because I find that we keep coming back to the topic of politics or individuals, because they do a lot of speaking. They're artists. They talk the talk, and one of the one that left an impression on me is President Obama. And I found a study of persuasion techniques that was done with one Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard, and President Obama, and they looked at their technique in terms of speech, and they talked about their style, which was like they had the use of metaphors, a mixture of tired and familiar, like the silver bullet, the fig leaf, And another thing they talked about was like their schemes and the use of tropes. And I thought those were very interesting pointers that they gave and examples. Another thing she looked at for them that was similar between both speakers is the use of repetitive schemes, emphasis on key persuasive points. And these things are important in swaying an individual in your way of thinking. They did look at the fact that President Obama seems to be very charismatic and how he he uses the familiar in terms of that whole thing that we started off talking about, establishing that commonality with individuals. And I think that's one of the things that was just how they make great speakers and how successful they were as a result of how they unfolded some of these techniques that we talked about. I don't know if there's any other topic or anything you'd like to talk about in persuasive speaking, or some story or something that stands out to any one of you. Anything that stands out in terms of persuasive speaking?
Maybe just going back to what you were saying about President Obama being as charismatic as he is. I completely agree with that. I think he's very relatable, and I think that has a lot to do with how persuasive his speech can be, in just the sense that he can speak to the common individual and relate to them in such a way. Like, for example, with me, you know, he plays basketball, you know. That's pretty cool, just seeing him relax, be a down-to-earth guy. And in that sense, I understand his point of view.
I think overall, a narrative or a testimony is that will sway people, because once you can get that common ground by telling a story, you know, and that whole easy way of delivering it. These 4 points are very key, these 4 techniques that are used, and they use time and time again. It will probably never change unless you can come up with a different model or different things to establish how successful one can become in persuasive speaking. But it's always about establishing credibility, connecting emotionally with your target audience, communicating a very compelling value or position or proposition to your audience, and then reinforcing continuously through your speech. And I think time, that won't change. I mean, those 4 seem to be the essential ones I came across. And I thank you for your time.
You're welcome.